Welcome to Wedgwood, everyone. We're so glad that everyone is here this morning. If you are listening live and joining us at 11 o'clock, we're glad you're here. And if you're listening to us later in the day or later in the week, we are glad that you are here with Wedgwood this morning. Everyone is welcome at Wedgwood Church. The first thing we start off with are our announcements. So I'll turn it over to Liz.
All right, so as Melba says, we have announcements on some upcoming events that we'd like to talk about this morning, just a few. Next Sunday, Melba will be speaking to us, so mark your calendars, and her topic will be, Where is God? So we know it's going to be a really good session, so you don't want to miss out.
Let me just add one thing. I had to take the opportunity to show off my family. So my grandkids and my son, but honestly, I don't have any pictures that aren't 2 years old, except for the ones in Calgary. But I did kind of take the opportunity to show my grandchildren off. But I want to talk about where is God next Sunday, and I just want to remind everybody, everyone at Wedgwood has a different definition of God. It may be a higher power. It might be just the spirit of the earth. It might be God, Allah. It might be that resilience and that conscience you have about what you do. So we all have different definitions of God. So we're going to include all of those definitions. That's why I have God in quotation. So that's going to be our topic next Sunday. Be thinking about it this week. And hopefully everyone can come and share some of their thoughts on this topic.
Awesome, thank you. I know it's going to be a really, really good talk. So we've been talking for a few weeks about the Charlotte Pride Interfaith celebration. That is being postponed until October 17th because of all the Delta variant stuff that's going on. It will still be in person, but they will also be, I believe they will be live streaming. So be on the lookout for more information since it's been pushed back. It'll still be at St. Luke's Missionary Baptist Church. And as of right now, they're still doing the Interfaith Festival afterwards. So we'll keep you posted as soon as we know more information about that service. And then on Saturday, October 16th, we will be having our yard sale for the fall. If you would like to join the planning committee for the yard sale, after the announcements, what I'll do is in the chat, I'll drop a sign up link. It's really simple. It's just basically just like your name and email and stuff like that. So I know who to get in contact with. But if you're interested in helping to plan this, we would certainly love to have you because we had a huge success with the one that we did in June, and we'd like to do one more before the end of the year. Our Wedgwood Community Garden is doing really well. As you can see, a lot of work has been done. On the top left-hand corner was where we started, and the bottom left-hand corner was from a couple weeks ago when we had crops in the ground. And then the center right picture was the first big harvest that we did. And I believe we have some more stuff that needs to be picked. So I'm actually going to go over there after service today and pick a few more things, which is really exciting because, planting things in the ground and harvesting them is another really great way to kind of get in touch with nature and God, however you view the universe. And all of the food that we grow goes to support our community food pantry. So it's going to people who really need it. And if you'd like to volunteer to come and weed and water the beds throughout the week, please reach out to me or Melba and we'll get you situated. And if you have a poem, a story, or a message that you'd like to share on our blog, please reach out. I've actually had some folks reach out to me, which is very exciting. We're really trying to grow it. If you would like to share your personal story or share what Wedgwood means to you, why did you join Wedgwood? I think it's just a really great opportunity to kind of share a piece of ourselves on our church website, because you never know who might read it and might be touched by the story and might think, Wedgwood's a really great place to be because there's all these amazing people I might want to look into visiting. So think of it like that as well. And so if you have anything you'd like to publish on the blog, please reach out to us for more information. On Thursday, September 2nd, the Wedgwood Social Justice Book Club will meet again, and they are going to be reading essays of Angela Davis. So please reach out to a book club member. You can also contact the Wedgwood email for copies of those essays because I believe they're available for free. And today, actually at 6:30 p.m., we have our next MIOS meeting. Dorothy, would you like to say a couple words about moving in one spirit?
Oh, sure. So far, this new spiritual group that we have, I find it to be amazing. We had about 8 Wedgwoodians show up 2 weeks ago, and it was great. We connected, little icebreaker activity, help us connect. I feel like this group can just help us open up more in our minds, more in our spirit. I feel really good things about this group. And last time was spent reading all the ground rules, but tonight I feel like we're honored. Elizabeth is going to be presenting a mini educational presentation all about chakra education, and I hope to see many people tonight. It's going to be fun. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you for everybody. Thank you for allowing us to have this group for us that love spirituality.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Thank you.
And then on Tuesday, September 21st, we have the Social Justice Committee will be meeting. If you'd like to join that committee, please reach out to me or Melba, and we will make sure that you get the Zoom link for that as well. And then the Children and Youth Committee will meet on Sunday, September 7th at 6:30. That will also be on Zoom. And if you'd like to join that committee as well, you can send me or Melba a Facebook message or reach out to us on the website or the Wedgwood email, and we'll make sure that you have the information to join that committee. We continue to partner with Project Outpour at First Christian Church on East Boulevard. They provide free shower access for the homeless every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you'd like to sign up for a shift, the link is in the newsletter to greet clients and kind of help them get situated. They do practice social distancing. They have some very strict protocols, and they do a really wonderful job. And we also have the Queen City Assisted Living Adopt-a-Resident program. Please contact Travis Friet for more information. This is a really great program. It's something really simple and easy to do. There are residents at Queen City Assisted Living who maybe don't have a whole lot of support and need help purchasing like socks and razors and t-shirts, just basic necessities. And so anyone who participates in this program is partnered with a resident there, and they help that resident get what they need. And it's just a really special thing that you can do, especially given the fact that, they're not really accepting visitors right now because of COVID. And so this is just a great way to, socially distance and show somebody that you care. And then we also have our sandwich program, the Charlotte Atheists and Agnostics. They have their next monthly distribution to the homeless is on Saturday, September 4th at 9 a.m. in Uptown Charlotte. More information is in the newsletter, but if you would like to go or bring sandwiches, please let me or Melba know, because then we'll give you the contact number of the person who's organizing it so you can meet them where they're at, because they meet kind of all over. And we have our food pantry. We're always in need of donations. We were really, really low last week, and folks really answered the call. We still need some more donations because the donations we got last week went immediately into the bags. Some of them we never even put on the shelves. It just went immediately into the bags. So please consider donating what you can. Our biggest needs are listed. If you'd like to volunteer, volunteers must be at least 16 years old and accompanied by an adult if they're under the age of 18. But there's a lot of different ways to give. So please consider giving in whatever way you can. And church giving, we need your regular financial support. There's a few different ways you can do that. So you can mail your offering to Wedgwood Church at the P.O. box listed. You can also do a text to give and text the number listed. You can also Venmo us. You can use PayPal. The Give to Wedgwood page on our website has the PayPal link. And you can also find us on Zelle. So there's a lot of different ways to give, and we encourage you to do so. And connect with us. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we have a website. You can also email us or call us, but there's a lot of different ways to get in touch with us and connect with us. So please reach out and do so. Does anyone else have any announcements? All righty. So next up, we have our prelude.
And me, I'm not perfect, but I'm working on my best version of myself. Isn't that how we all feel? And we don't want to try to fit in anymore. We want to live to the values that we all believe in. And last Sunday, we talked about community and having welcoming communities. And we all have the same goals. Most of us have the same values, but it's not easy every day to live up to those values. So today, Artie will be speaking to us with a very timely message about how can we live up to these values that we claim to have. And we look forward to that. And now Ashanti will lead us in our extravagant welcome. We are all welcome here.
We are welcome here.
Okay, hold on, stay right here. We are all welcome here. Welcome to a church that works for peace, justice, equality, and care of Mother Earth. An extravagant welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed or full of joy. We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers, striving to learn and embody the way of Jesus and other spiritual leaders. But like Jesus, we focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address our major issues of our day. One of the ways we seek to heal the world and ourselves is through sharing parts of our personal stories. Let's say it again. Say it again for me. We are all
welcome here.
Thank you.
Yes, we are all welcome here. Yes, indeed, we are. Thank you so much, Gavin. You did a wonderful job with that.
Good job, baby.
Great. Good job. And now we go to our moment for all ages. This has been a week. How many folks went back to school this week? Adults, children, or within the last few weeks? I know we have some adult members that are going back to school, community college and other places. We've got some children that are going back to school, and it's a real change after having been out of school for so long. And can any of you, young at heart, think of any stories that you have about your first days back at school? Gavin, can you tell us of anything about your first day at school this year?
What happened at your first day of school?
What did you do?
He's in kindergarten, he's saying.
Oh, it's exciting.
What did you do at school? What did you do there on the first day?
Draw and read.
And read. He said drawing and reading.
And write their name.
And wrote their names.
And we played outside.
Played outside.
Oh, I bet you met some new friends too, didn't you?
Yeah, you made a new friend. What's your friend's name?
That's one of the best things about going back to school. Oh, okay, Gabe. It's meeting new friends. I mean, sometimes you're a little nervous about it, but it doesn't take long. In a few days, you're best friends, and you feel a lot more comfortable with it. You know, I have a 7-year-old grandson, and this summer, Gavin, we were at the park, and he was playing, and there was a little boy there, probably about a year younger than him, that really didn't play very well with other children. And his mom came over and spoke to me, and she said he has a lot of problems, and he has problems sharing, and he has problems playing with other children. And she thanked me and said, James is playing with him so nice, and I appreciate that so much. And James did. He tried to tell him, you need to share. If you want me to play with you, you're going to have to share your ball. And was talking to him. And so after when we got ready to leave, the mother came over and said to James, you are a really nice young man. Thank you for playing with my son. I know he doesn't always play fair, and he needs somebody like you, a nice boy like you, to play with. And I was just listening, and James said, and I think this is how we all feel, I want to be a nice boy. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be a bully. I want to be one of those nice kids. And he said, and I try. It's not always easy, but I do. I want to be a nice kid. And it just warmed my heart that he was able to express that. And I thought, that's how we all feel. We want to be nice people. We want to be nice kids. We want to be nice adults. It's not always easy. And that's kind of what we're talking about this morning. And we look forward to Artie's message to us on that. And we go to school, we meet new people. It sometimes is a challenge to get back in the swing and get back in the rules for school. We have a really short video Gavin might enjoy seeing about going back to school. Just a few reminders. Okay. And Gavin, we want to all wish you a very, very wonderful, exciting, and fun year of learning. Let's give Gavin a round of applause. Have a great school year. We know you're going to do great. All right, thank you. And now is our time of meditation, prayer, and reflection. I received a phone call this morning from my a good college friend. Her son's been her grandchildren have been back in school in South Carolina for 6 days, and he has COVID. He's 11 years old, 1 year too young to be vaccinated, and the parents are vaccinated. The 13-year-old is vaccinated, so they're hoping that they won't have any breakthroughs. And I believe the parents got their booster already because they got the Johnson & Johnson, which I think they offered a booster to the Johnson & Johnson people earlier because they were having problems with that vaccine. But she said he's pretty sick right now with a bad cough and running a high fever. But that's only 6 days back in school. And we know the situation in South Carolina with masks being optional. So if you would keep that family in your prayers this week. His name is Daniel, and it's the Budding family. So I'd appreciate prayers for them. And Donna Carter is on with us this morning. We're so happy to have Donna Carter here with us this morning. And we always keep Donna in our thoughts and prayers every week. We're glad you're here with us, Donna. Any others?
Yeah, I have one. A former Wedgwoodian who hasn't been in a while, but they reached out asking for some prayers. Clarabelle Athena Catlin, she's been having some health issues, and she just asks for our prayers and good thoughts.
Any others?
I asked for prayers for my daughter Naja in Boston, who has multiple sclerosis, that she gets adequate housing where she is. It's okay, but she's hoping that she can move up on the housing list and get something adequate for her and my granddaughter. So continue praying for that. It's getting close.
Pray for all in facing the hurricane, and that all the Afghan refugees that we are bringing into our country will be welcome and will find a home.
Goes back to that welcoming and affirming communities we talked about last week.
And I know a lot of you've been praying for my friend's husband, Dan Ero, and he's had a couple of better days. He's off of the paralytic now, and he's still being ventilated. He's in ICU, Carolina's Medical, but I know that he appreciates the prayers, and his wife and his children certainly appreciate the prayers. His youngest son said in his prayers the other night, he said, "Dear God, don't let my daddy die." You know, it just breaks my heart. So keep praying for Dan. He also has a Caring Bridge link. It's Dan Eroh, EROH, and I know Melba's been following it, and I know they appreciated you mentioning that Wedgwood was praying for him.
Yes, I did.
I have a minor praise report, but you know, I work in the hospitality industry. Long story short, 2 weeks ago, I made a spontaneous decision to quit my job. Just my bonus pay was not honored, and I want to go where I'm at peace. I don't want money to bribe me, so I quit my job. Long story short, I'm not the type that can go a week, 2 weeks too much without a job. So I got interviews set up, and I landed 3 of my interviews, but on my 4th interview I went to, when my new boss comes in front of my face to interview me, we're looking at each other. It's a gentleman I haven't seen in 3 years, because at another job, I trained him in a position when he was scared and nervous. And it was just so surreal, because he just welcomed me in. I didn't have to even try too hard. We have friends. I think when we're just good to people and when we show the love of God and we uplift people, it may take a few seasons, or as Liz teaches us, to grow a good harvest in the ground. Always be kind to people, Gavin. Be good and nice to people, because man, the power of God, the power of the universe will bring that harvest right to us. And now somebody I trained and made to have confidence, he's now my boss when I'm in need. And I'm just grateful for that. And may we just all be nice. I want more of this for the whole world. Thank you.
Well, I have a celebration. My son and his family have been living with Christine's mom. When they first got married, they moved in with her. She has an apartment and it's 3 levels, and she had plenty of room. And then COVID came, and they kind of got stuck staying there. They wanted to move out, but jobs didn't work out. His visa papers hung up in court because courts weren't meeting. So they've lived there all this time, and she's a marvelous, wonderful woman. She's just the type of person that if you need a place to stay, come on in. Any of us could show up on her doorstep and she'd say, "Come on in." And she's just that kind of person. Thank goodness I've gotten along well. But while I was there, we went house hunting, and we found a lovely home for them. They have the main floor, and there's a couple in the basement that and there's an apartment there, and it's a grandma and her adult grandson. She's not in good health, and he takes care of her. So they are now all moved into that house and getting ready for school to start. It's got a fenced in backyard. Everything on the checklist was at that house. Everything. We were amazed when we walked in. And so I'm just celebrating that, because they're ready to have their own little place and be their own little family. And I'm sure mother-in-law is ready for them to be out. So it's a win-win all the way around. Although I know she misses them. She says she misses them terribly. But I want to celebrate that, because they found just the perfect little home for them.
Vicki and I are celebrating that Will and Emily have set their wedding date. They're going to be hitched up on May the 20th.
Very
So
excited.
excited.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so
yeah,
excited.
very excited.
Oh, that's awesome. Do they know where the wedding will be yet?
They have located a venue, and we will learn more about it when we go to the beach with them later in September.
Awesome. I know you are so excited and happy, because you just,
Yes.
we've seen it in your faces as
Yeah.
this courtship progressed. That's great. Any others? All right, we use this time for people who believe in prayer, use it as a prayer time. If you're not a person who prays, it can be a meditation time, a time just to sit quietly and reflect. Reflect on yourself and the week ahead, or just a time to sit and relax your shoulders and close your eyes for a few minutes. Amen. I am so excited to have Artie here this morning. Artie and I go back a long way. We've been friends for a long time. And I think he knows Chris and Chris's family. So Artie, we're just so happy to have you here this morning. Artie has their Master of Social Work degree from UNC Charlotte and has worked with LGBT youth in foster care, adults with HIV, as a voting rights organizer, and now as advocacy and election strategist at Equality North Carolina, and on federal non-discrimination policy at Faith in Public Life. They is a Master of Arts and Religious Studies student at Chicago Theological Seminary with a concentration in LGBTQ studies and do consultation for LGBTQ plus inclusion with congregations at Project Extravagant Welcome. They were born and raised in Concord, lived in Charlotte for several years, and now live in Waynesville with their partner and daughter. We are thrilled to welcome Artie Hartsell to speak at Wedgwood, and we cannot wait to hear your message today. So welcome.
Thanks, Melba, and thank you all for having me. I've loved Wedgwood for a long time, and I'm glad to be here. So last week, y'all heard from Cameron Pruitt, who was one of the key people who worked for Charlotte's non-discrimination ordinance passage, which was the result of a 30-year effort in Charlotte. This ordinance has been important to me, and I've worked on it since 2015. After, experiencing questions about whether I would be accepted in certain places, often facing disappointment and outright rejection, it's been important to me to ensure that people have safe, welcoming places where they can be authentically where we can be authentically ourselves. That's just been a priority for me. So typically, policy happens before attitude changes, which isn't how a lot of people think of it. Usually we think we have to change hearts and minds before policy, but a lot of times it's the other way around, actually. But the work around the ordinance was a chance for faith communities, businesses, and service providers to make clear to LGBTQ people where they stood on the issue of non-discrimination. And Wedgwood did all the things for us, signed all the things and showed up. This was especially true that all these places could say that they were 100% inclusive. They could stand up and be bold about that after the passage of 2016's House Bill 2, when North Carolinians, especially LGBTQ North Carolinians, needed to hear that we were safe or that they would have safe spaces. We need this boldness to be constant, even when it's not evident that marginalized people are under attack. I want to provide a little more context about why this matters to me so much, and because I believe stories like mine need to be known in order to see the importance of what I'm saying. I grew up Baptist. My relationship with the denomination is complex right now. When I was in middle school, my church in Concord, and Chris probably knows the story very, very well. My church in Concord had gay men come forward for baptism. My pastor welcomed them, and then all heck broke loose. We were threatened with expulsion from our county and state Baptist fellowships. The County Baptist Association actually met in a church that was directly above my house, above a hill. So I like climbed up and was trying to spy during the meeting where they eventually threw us out. Our church council, after all these threats, met to determine what our next steps were if we were going to go through with this baptism. And because I was baptized in the church, I had a vote, and I voted, and we decided as a church council to go through with the baptism. After that meeting happened immediately, I was in the hallway, and I have a very vivid memory of an adult crying and hugging me. I'm a child, essentially. She was crying and wanting me to comfort her. Because I guess she knew that I was very devout. She knew that I knew the Bible pretty well for someone my age. I took it very seriously. And I think she expected me to agree with her, like her dismay at that church's decision. So in that moment, I had to swallow the secrets that I was keeping and had to comfort this adult who ended up leaving our church. We were expelled from all of our relationships to the Southern Baptist Convention, which, no big loss. And we faced intense protests. And at one protest, there were so many protesters, they required police presence, and there were news crews in our church. And during our pastor's benediction, a man stood up, and it was so scary. He started screaming about how it was the den of iniquity, your body is a temple, just basically that our church was a den of hell and sin. So I was overwhelmed and an anxious 12-year-old, and just left the room. But eventually the main person who was yelling was tasered in the middle of our church in front of everyone, and was arrested. And I was struggling as a closeted young person because I was torn between feeling proud of my church and feeling like my existence could cause this much turmoil for people that I loved. After that, we didn't really talk about gay stuff so much anymore as a church. I knew that there were people who did not like that we accepted gay people, and I knew that there were people who did. I remember knowing from middle school that I was queer, but I lived in fear of myself, my church, my family, my classmates, my God, and my eternity. I didn't understand how someone so devoted to God and scripture could be made of such bad stuff. I remember when an adult told me it was okay to be angry with God. Not because I was gay or whatever, just because it was a youth lesson. And he was like, it's okay to not always be happy when you're praying. Because my prayers had always been the sinner's prayer every day. God, forgive me. Like, please don't send me to hell. Please don't send me to hell. I'm really trying. I may have lied today. I don't really remember. Please don't send me to hell. Like, that was my prayer all the time. And when he said it was okay to be angry with God, I felt relief and freedom to yell and scream because I was dealing with so much, trying to be so good. I remember in 9th grade being surrounded by students in a circle outside of a classroom, them yelling at myself and a friend of mine and asking if we were gay. I truly felt like we were about to be stoned. I never knew there were places where LGBTQ people were fully accepted. Gay people were something to keep quiet about. Any evidence of someone being gay was considered flaunting it. The gay men in our church, if they held hands, people would whisper. So I kept quiet. My only understanding of trans people before college was from the TV show Maury, where they would have the audience guess if a woman was cisgender or transgender, though they didn't say it that way. When I was assigned an accountability partner at a Baptist Christian camp I worked at, we were supposed to talk about our struggles. And I chose to say that I had a pornography addiction because I felt like people believed that was something easier to overcome than homosexuality, even though I had never engaged with pornography. It was a lie I told to more than one person, hoping their prayers for me would help me stop being gay because it was like a close enough sin. And you'll see later why people clump them together. I originally went to a small Baptist college in Boiling Springs, North Carolina. pursuing an undergraduate degree in religious studies with a concentration in Christian education and a minor in youth ministry. I was all in. I figured I could pursue ordination, be in the Cooperative Baptist Fellowship, live in a small apartment with cats and books and without human intimacy. Just live a closeted life as a pastor. The summer after my sophomore year, I was working in Washington, D.C., and I was living in a church attic with 7 other Christian college students doing service work in the city. The director of my college's campus ministries, which oversaw almost all extracurricular activities at the college, sent an email to almost all the students. And in that email, I'll never forget it. He said, I wish I still had it. He said that several people had come out, I don't think that's the word he used, as gay, and that the devil was among us. There was a storm on the horizon. And if anyone came out to us, it was our duty to point them to Exodus International for conversion therapy, or to Triple X Church, which is an online church that treats pornography addiction. So in this like denominational way, these are treated very similarly. So you'll see why I use that lie. When I returned to campus, I realized several of, sorry if my doggy barks. He wants to be covered with a blanket. I realized several of my friends were the people who had come out and been removed from their leadership positions, and that others had come out but were working to overcome their homosexual natures, and so they kept their positions and were outing other students. My friends and I worked that year to create a gay-straight alliance that was voted down by student government and would have never been approved by the trustees of the university, and we decided to be as open as possible on campus to tell our stories. We knew we wouldn't be the last LGBTQ students there, and we knew we weren't the only ones there at the time. We wanted people to know that they weren't alone. My last major assignment was in my 3rd Koine Greek semester of the language of the New Testament. It was a 40+ word study paper. My professor assigned to me the word homosexuality. So I was to study how it appears across scripture, how it became to be the way that it is and the way that it's understood today. And I can't help but to think that he wanted me to know scripture didn't condemn me, but he might have been anxious about his own pastoral and professor positions, to say it outright, which is a trend that I see a lot. The employment of pastors is a really serious issue when it comes to actually addressing controversial subjects. So I ended up transferring to UNCC to pursue social work and begin working in and building spaces for LGBTQ youth, spaces that, had I had them, would have kept me much more on the alive side of the line that I constantly walked. Places that were boldly saying we didn't have to hide, fight within our own selves, or be like everyone else. So for the first time, I experienced freedom and being able to see other people living in their truth. So with that background, you know that I was raised in the Christian tradition, and despite many complications, I embrace it today. In chapter 8 of the Gospel of Mark, Jesus and his disciples come to Bethsaida, where Jesus heals a blind man. And to keep anyone from seeing this miracle, Jesus sends the man directly home, telling him not to even go to the village. Then in verse 27, Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" And they answered him, "John the Baptist, and others Elijah, and still others one of the prophets." He asked them, "But who do you say that I am?" And Peter answered him, "You are the Messiah." And he sternly ordered them not to tell anyone about him. This theme through Mark, wherein Jesus does not deny being the Messiah, but tells people to keep this title and his deeds hush hush, is often referred to as the Messianic secret. And it has to be understood in the context of the time. There are several important factors here, but 2 of the most important that I think we have to consider is the majority culture and religion, the Jewish people who are awaiting a Messiah, a liberator. And the second is the Roman Empire, which is politically oppressive. And there are many theories about why Mark illustrates Jesus' secrecy in this way, but one position is that Jesus could be seen as his political leader, this liberator and alternative to imperialism, but that the title Messiah also came with very high expectations from the Jewish people, and Rome could see Jesus and his followers as an uprising needed to be crushed. This little movement of traveling storytellers and ragamuffins were not at a strong place to declare themselves as this alternative to the empire and to face the overwhelming brutality of Roman force. Still, throughout the Gospels, we see Jesus telling stories and doing deeds that tell us who he is and what his movement stands for. In the face of extraordinary danger And that culminates in him and many of his followers' crucifixion. I think labels can be really useful. They can bring us together when folks who might have things in common with us for friendship, or they can help us build power as a oppressed group. However, there are some labels that come with baggage and connotations, depending on who's listening. Labels like Christian, conservative, feminist, they all come with expectations, but what I expect from someone who calls themselves a Christian is often different from what other people expect. I'm sorry, let me have, oh wait, no, he's up. I was gonna cover up my dog because he was whining. And when someone doesn't meet our expectations for their labels, we often say, oh, they aren't a real Christian, or oh, they aren't a real feminist, or they're a Republican or Democrat in name only, and we have ourselves a no true Scotsman fallacy. But the truth is that those words have taken on so many meanings, and it's up to us to illustrate who we are and what those words mean to us. Jesus showed us who he was, and people gave up everything they had to follow him. A church can have on their website that they welcome all, or have come as you are on the sign by the street, but they may want to change me after I step in the door. A church may even say that you're inclusive of LGBTQ people, but when someone doesn't assimilate into that church's existing norm, or if that person disagrees with something because it others us in some way, when we push for welcome and equality within a space, we often learn the harsh truth that we were expected to fit in completely. I live in Haywood County now. I've often seen people, many of them transplants to the area, claim that people with diverse backgrounds and beliefs, or anyone living outside of heterosexual whiteness, don't represent the mountains. They call themselves neighbors. They say they are the true holders of mountain values. They tell us to go back to California or Asheville or whatever. Still, nearly 2 weeks ago, when my county experienced a deadly flood, it was those rejected people, many of them LGBTQ and allies, many of those who were also Christians, who showed up to help. They didn't have to prove they were Western North Carolinians or Christians or Appalachians or neighbors. They just were. Their actions matched their labels in the way they wanted them to. They showed the truth of who they are. I've worked with churches just starting to have the conversation about what they will do about the inevitability of the LGBTQ conversation, all the way to churches like Wedgwood, who have marched in pride parades and whom I truly believe would open their doors fully to anyone living in their authenticity. And while I want the world to be open and inclusive to everyone and to show it through actions, the first important thing is for churches to be honest about where they are in all the journeys they are on, so that marginalized folks can accurately gauge our own safety in that space. And this is true for all areas of social justice. And it's important for us to know that deciding to live our named values clearly and show marginalized people that we are on their side doesn't mean we are always going to do it right. We're going to mess up, but it means we are open to correction as a gift from people who see us as a worthy community with whom they'd want to be in a relationship. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm grateful to do the work I do to put myself in spaces that may not be safe in order to help them become safer, or in spaces that are safe and just need to be more bold about that, because we all deserve to at least know where we can be ourselves. And I'm grateful to places like Wedgwood that have fully committed to and proven that commitment to extravagant welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Artie, for your message. I feel your passion in your voice. I do. And thank you for sharing your story. It has resonated with me. I like the part when you said that, you ended up being the helpful person, people in a bad situation, and that's how we are as people. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you like, what you don't like. You just, when someone needs help, you just step right in. Thank you, Artie. I'm going to sing this song. It's called We All Are One. And I hope it resonates with you, and I hope it resonates with everyone that's watching and whoever watches later. It's by Jimmy Cliff. Got a little reggae feel to it. Hope you like it. I see you, Artie. I hope you guys clap for me from time to time. Listen to the words. We all are one. We are the same person. I'll be you, you be me. We all are one, same universal. I'll be you, you be me. No matter where we are born, we are human beings. The same chemistry with emotions and feelings, all corresponding in love. Compatible, can't get around it no matter how hard you try. You better believe it. You can't get around now that you are no different than I. Reply. We all are one. We are the same person. Same person. I'll be you. We all are one. Same universal world. I'll be you. You be me. The only difference I can see is in conscience. The shade of the skin doesn't matter. We laugh, we chatter. Don't be smart. We all have hope and feelings. We make all those faces always renew. So true, so true. And would you believe that I have all those same feelings too? Oh yeah, we all are one. We are the same person. I'll be me, you be you, Artie, you be you. Same universal world, same chemistry. We all are one. We are the same person. I'm gonna be me, you're gonna be you, yeah. Same universal world. Look at the children, they're having fun with no regrets to why. They all look different, but deep inside, there's feelings of love they don't hide. They don't hide. They don't hide. Oh, they don't hide. Oh, if you agree with the message, clap your hands. I'll be you. Oh, we all are one. We are the same person. I'll be me, you be you, you be you. We all are one. Same universal world. I'll be me, you be you. Same chemistry. Same. We're the same. We're the same. We're the same. We're the same. We all are one. Same universal world. I'll be me, you be you, yeah. We are the same person. I'll be me, you be you. We all are one. Same universal world. I'll be you, you be me, yeah, yeah. We all are one. We are the same person. I'll be you, you be me. That's for everybody.
That was beautiful, Ashanti, as always. Ashanti is in the top 5. Have you gone up anymore in the UK and the
4.
4? And what chart is it?
The UK Soul Chart.
Soul Chart.
Yeah.
Soul Music Chart. And she's with her new album that's out now. So
Yeah.
we are so privileged to have Ashanti sing for us every Sunday. And Artie, thank you so much. What a timely message. And at Wedgwood, we believe in that we learn from sharing our personal stories. And a lot of us have come on and shared very personal stories and it helps somebody, it touches somebody. And your sharing this morning certainly gives us all the strength that we must be who we say we are. We must be willing to take a stand and be who we say we are. It's more than just words. And I want to close our benediction this morning with the words of Jean Jordan in Poem for South African Women, which she presented at the UN on August the 9th, 1978. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We're not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We're not without fault, but we can be honest and face our past and chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to live out our values, to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for. And I will add to that, may we have the courage to be who we say we are. Amen. Go in peace.